herbs. Please welcome Treasure of the East.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you so much. I am really honored to have the opportunity to share a little bit more about the Treasure of the East brand of premium herbal extracts. From our very beginning, over 26 years ago, we have sourced all of our herbs from one company, Tianjiang Pharmaceutical. Let me see. And Tianjiang is a company that is unrelentingly committed to the efficacy of our herbs. Their herbs are used by so many leading TCM hospitals and universities, both for patient care and for clinical studies. In fact, across Asia, there are over 8,000 hospitals that use Tianjiang's herbs, including 70% of China's largest provincial level hospitals, the so-called AAA level hospitals. And Tianjiang's commitment to the efficacy of these herbs starts from authentic and sustainable sourcing. Almost all of our herbs are from their Daodi regions. Tianjiang actually owns 66 of their own farms in Daodi regions. And we have actually this lovely footage from a documentary that's being filmed right now about Tianjiang and one of their farms in Yunnan province. So I'm going to take a second and share this with you. Sorry to cut it off a little early there. So the Tianjiang's commitment actually even goes beyond just the Daodi. There are large growing regions for a lot of herbs. Huangqing, for example, grows in multiple provinces, and Tianjiang goes to the next step of testing multiple batches from multiple regions to see where are the herbs most potent. In this table here, you can see at the bottom, Shandong province consistently performs the best. So all of our Huangqing comes from Shandong province. Similarly, Tianjiang evaluates different varieties within the same species of herbs. Here you can see 3 varieties of Huanglian, and Tianjiang uses a combination of TLC, thin layer chromatography, and multi-constituent testing to determine that it's this middle variety here that has the highest concentrations of therapeutic chemical components. So this middle variety is the only variety that goes into our herbs. Speaking of TLC, some of you may have seen this book at our booth in the past. We are so incredibly proud of this. It is a TLC standard for traditional Chinese herbs that Tianjiang developed to ensure authenticity of the raw herbs. And in fact, the China FDA has now adopted this standard nationwide, meaning that all herb producers must comply with Tianjiang's standards for authenticity. This is another one of Tianjiang's farms that they own in the Daodi regions. This is Jiegen in Henan province. And I really want to emphasize that this direct sourcing practice from Tianjiang's own farms or directly from the farmers is very unique. Most herbs, whether they are raw herbs or concentrated herbs, are sold through the wholesale herb market. And in contrast, we're able to buy out entire harvests, and we're able to process the herbs immediately after harvest at peak freshness and peak efficacy. Another part of this that's so important to me as an environmentalist is that we're able to really verify the sustainability, the soil quality, and especially for the very few protected species that we use in Chinese medicine, like tianma, Baiji, Ruocongrong, and Beishashen. These herbs are protected by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. And we're able to obtain certificates from CITES confirming that our herbs are coming from sustainably farmed sources, never from the wild. So once we have these beautiful, authentic, and sustainable herbs, Tianjiang's commitment to this unrelenting commitment to efficacy continues into the research and development of their processes. For example, the Chinese pharmacopoeia, all of our herbs comply with the Chinese pharmacopoeia, but it really leaves a lot of wiggle room. In this example here, this is chao bai shao, which the Chinese pharmacopoeia says should be fried until it's yellow, a little shiny, and has specks of char. It doesn't specify how long that should be or what the optimal temperature is. And that's exactly what Tianjiang has done, not only for chao bai shao, but for every single herb. We have optimal parameters for every herb in order to ensure that efficacy. Additionally, Tianjiang has developed and been granted 30 patents related to extraction, granulation, and packaging. They have, I mentioned earlier that so many TCM universities and research hospitals use our herbs. They actually have research partnerships with 48 of these institutions. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of studies based on herbs from Tianjiang. And if we look just at the English language publications, there are 115 that you can find on NIH's PubMed Central that specifically call out Tianjiang and our herbs. And of course, such an important part of this unrelenting commitment to efficacy requires unrelenting quality control as well. And Tianjiang was the very first herb producer in China to get the GMP, Good Manufacturing Practice certification. Tianjiang also has ISO certifications for quality, for measurement, for testing, for calibration, and for environmental management. And I want to dig just a little bit deeper into Tianjiang's testing and calibration certification. They're actually qualified to be a third-party laboratory to test for other companies as well. The Tianjiang laboratory is a joint laboratory with the Waters Corporation, a very famous corporation for the production of very high precision laboratory equipment. And Tianjiang has a deep bench of PhDs, postdocs, as well as some of the top of the line testing equipment like this. On the left is a mass liquid chromatography mass spectrometer, an extremely expensive piece of equipment that is able to do that multi-constituent testing that I showed earlier and goes into our product specifications. Here are just a few quick shots of the production facility. Starting from the top left, I'm going to go counterclockwise. You can see just how automated the process is. That's a material handling area. Going down, that's the decocting process. One step further is the filtering process, and at the top right is granulation, which all happens in a class 6 clean room. That's an extremely clean environment that you only find in pharmaceutical and semiconductor manufacturing. All right, I spoke a bunch about Tianjiang, their enormous scale and their enormous reach. In very stark contrast to that, I'd like to share a little bit about Treasure of the East, our company in the US, which is very different. We are a small family-owned company that was started by my mother, Dr. Ann Wong, when she started her practice in the US. This is the Integrative Medicine Center in Ithaca, New York. To this day, we're located just 2 blocks down the street from her clinic. And when she started her clinic, she found that she wasn't getting the clinical results that she was looking for, and she wasn't satisfied with the herbs that she was able to find in the US. So regularly, she started going to China to get the best quality herbs she could get. And quickly, word spread in the Chinese American TCM community. And friends started to ask for the herbs, and their friends started to ask, and that's how the Treasure of the East line was born. Today, we are so honored to be able to serve practitioners in all 50 states, as well as to supply some of the most trusted names in TCM. Many of you know Lhasa and Five Flavors. They're also exhibiting here this weekend. We are really fortunate to have our friends from Legendary Herbs, China Herb Company, and Four Pillars Herbal Dispensary who will be joining us in our Zoom room during the exhibit hours. So please come by to say hello to them and say hello to us as well. So all of these companies here carry our Treasure of the East line, but I really want to emphasize also that we excel in private labeling. We actually sell more herbs through private labeling than we do under our own line. We have many options for private labeling at Tianjiang, as well as with manufacturing partners in the US. So if this is something that you're interested in for your own clinic or for your own retail line, we'd love to speak to you about it. You can sign up for a consultation with our team about private labeling, or you're welcome to sign up for an herbal consultation with Dr. Wong if you want to discuss some of your really difficult patient cases. That's a service that we provide to our customers at no cost. And she's actually with us here this weekend during the exhibit hours as well. So please come by and say hello. And of course, I can't make this presentation without sharing our very special promo code for Pacific Symposium. Now through the 20th, you can get 20% off of any order, as well as 3 free samples. And in fact, you can get 3 free samples with any order from us going forward. This is a great way to share the power of herbs with your patients. And also for orders over 300, you can get free shipping, as well as a free bottle of Jade Screen Double Strength. And this formula is such a special formula. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with it. Tianjiang provided this to 55,000 frontline healthcare workers since the beginning of the pandemic. And we in the US have now donated over 1,000 bottles of this formula to great organizations like Herb Care US, as well as many hospitals all across the country. So on the bottom there, you see a crew from UCSF Medical Center. In the center, you see the chief nursing officer from Boston Medical Center, who loved this formula so much, she featured it in their Some Good News broadcast. And the Jade Screen Double Strength is actually just one of the 8 formulas that we have in our new Frontline Defense Essentials line. They're very timely. We encourage you to check these out or ask us about these formulas. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. This is a picture from last year, and I really sincerely hope that at this time next year, we'll be able to meet in person in San Diego at the Catamaran. Until then, this is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. herbs@treasureoftheeast.com, treasureoftheeast.com. We'd love to be in touch. So thank you so much. I think that I still have some time. Oh, wow, I went through that a lot faster than I expected.
You ended exactly on time.
Oh, I did. Okay, I'm looking at the time wrong. Okay.
Perfect. So thank you so much to you and to Treasure of the East for all of your support, for your talk. We hope everybody will go visit them in the exhibit room. We have 4 minutes until Matt Kellison, so we'll see you all back.